There's a mix out in the marketplace of server-based software and cloud-based software. It's definitely a migration that is happening, but for thousands of businesses that run significant businesses and significant rent rolls and portfolios, they rely on desktop network-based software. And so for those businesses, for business continuity and security, they have to ensure that backups and disaster recovery plans are absolutely in place at this time, because it's too early in some cases for them to move to cloud-based environments, and so they have to ensure that they're doing the right thing in a more traditional environment. So there are many different systems out there that businesses are using, and I think when you think about file storage, document management storage in the cloud, the big names that come to mind are Dropbox, Box.net, obviously there's Google Docs, there's SugarSync. There are a range of different tools out there, and they have evolved significantly over the last 5 to 6 years to become extremely smart in the way that they dynamically store information. So as soon as something's changed in a file on your computer or in a file on the server, that's automatically replicated off-site, and those services provide a fantastic value add in terms of storage of data, and it's accessible for anywhere. It's applicable to mobile devices, which is obviously where so much of this information needs to be going. Well, the one that always stands out is obviously First National Oxley during the 2011 floods. Their office was completely destroyed, but yet they were up and running in a couple of days with all of their data, which is a great case study. But there are always scenarios that I hear of where we're helping people rebuild the data and rebuild certain systems because they just haven't been rigorous enough on a half-daily, daily, weekly basis backing up their data. And so we go to all sorts of lengths to help them get back to where they need to be, and that takes time, but it's a whole lot less time than what it would be if they didn't have any sort of backups and they had to start from scratch. There are a range of different ways to look at document management in all sorts of different businesses. When you think about documents and paper and the amount of paper that collects in these businesses, and still today goes through businesses, one approach is to not do anything, and you have enormous space taken up by filing cabinets and time taken to find the documents, and then you've got to remember to put them back. And if a disaster happens and the office burns down, or in the case of a flood, all of that information is lost. So in today's day and age, you really must be taking that paper content and making it digital, and that is often done through the scanning process and then stored in document management systems. So once you've got all your physical paper and information into document management systems, like all data backups and disaster recovery processes, you've got to then back that up rigorously and regularly in a similar way that I was explaining just before. And as a result from that, you're saving significant space in the office, so there's a benefit there. You can put other people in and generate more revenue. But most importantly, you've got all of that information that really builds the value of your business, and you've got it all electronically. You've then got it off-site should something untoward happen. So in terms of where would an office start in building a plan, the first place to go, or the first person to go and talk to is obviously their infrastructure provider. Now, some businesses using cloud-based infrastructure providers, some are using their local IT infrastructure providers and having that infrastructure in their office. It's critical that business owners call to account those people that are managing their infrastructure on a regular basis to restore data, as I've said a couple of times, because that then proves that the process that they're working through is working. If the business owner feels like they're even further they're earlier in the process, they actually have to sit down with those providers and work through a very simple plan to say, we back up this type of data, we do it this regularly, and this is who takes it out of the office, or this is the mechanism by which it's taken and stored in the cloud. And so that needs to be planned. It's not a complex thing to do, but time needs to be spent on that. And then once that is in place and working, then they need to test it whether it's every 3 months, every 6 months, or even if they really want to in the early stages, every month, just to make sure that what is being backed up is being saved. But that would be the right way to start.